All the very best, Mr. Shubham Dumbre, for this session. And people, if you have any queries or want to ask any questions, we are right here and we will answer you back. So all the
Thank,
very best, Shubham, for the session.
thank you, Sophia. Thank you. I'll take over.
Yeah, sure.
So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is Shubham Dumbre back with another power packed session, and this session is on productive office suites and archive programs. So, I came across this topic when I heard many of my colleagues complaining that I'm not able to extract a zip file, or it's like the trial period has ended. Many of them were like saying, I'm not able to understand what's the difference between slides and presentations, and you say some other platform where you have to present slides like Prezi and all. I also came across some people who were complaining that the file format which they created in Microsoft Docs, or you say Microsoft Office, is not the same. Also, the alignment which they had made for the documents, or you say the image placements and all, everything was like scattered when they tried to open it on some different platform. So after understanding these many problems, I thought of like creating a session on this and covering this topic, that which different productive office suites exist, which are most commonly used, and which are the ones which actually sync up with the rest of the platforms. Apart from that, the second query which I came across was like many a times these zip archival programs, we have these zip files where we have a collection of lot many files, but we don't know how to extract it, or else like many platforms don't support extracting zip files, or else like there's no repair tool for the zip file. So in order to counter these queries, I like have formulated this session. So today we'll be understanding productive office suites and archive programs. I, Shubham Dumde, along with the tech platform and my organization Delta the Innovators, I'm here to explain you on the same. So let's understand how Office Suite and archive programs play a very important role in today's productive world, in today's efficient world, and by implementing some good strategies, we can like get the best out of it. We can get our goals and aligned to the, you say, outcomes that we really want to attain. So the very first thing, today we know that we all use a lot many devices, mobile phones, tablets, use laptops, Chromebooks, and a lot many devices. But what happens that every device has some different kind of a resolution, some different configuration. Also the controls on every device vary from, you say, device to device, and that's the reason we need something that is like synchronized, that is like accessible from all the devices. And yes, it should also be like user friendly, it should not be too much complex. So after analyzing all these queries and all these points, I thought of like combining all the best platforms or the best tools which can like come together, which can be used by the cloud functionalities, or else like the local functionalities, on-premise functionalities. And this session will like talk more about the cross-platform office suites and archive programs. So in case you have any queries, you can just post and I'll just try to answer it to the best of the time. And let's start. So what is a productive office suite? Don't just look at this one logo. I've just kept it because this is the most familiar one to all of us. There are different office suites. So an office suite in computing is a collection of productivity software, usually containing a word processor, a presentation slider, and a spreadsheet. So in simple terms, if I like naively say it, it's like a Word, Excel, and PowerPoint combination. These are the three primary tools that we require in any office suite. So might it be Google Docs, might it be Apple iWork, or else the Microsoft Office 365. We have to have at least these three products or these three softwares into the suite. So that is what we call an office suite. There can be many other programs also, like Microsoft has Microsoft Publisher, Access, and all. So we'll jump into that ahead. There are, as I said, there are many different brands like Microsoft Office M365, O365, Google Workspace, WPS Office, LibreOffice, and all. So we'll understand like which are the free alternatives, which are the paid ones, and how like we can go about it. In the more expansive suites, like in corporates and big companies, we can find like the office suite contains a lot many programs, a lot many softwares, and which might not be limited to, but mainly has file management softwares and forms and surveys. Then it has collaboration tools, to-do lists and notes, calendar and scheduling, video chat, email client, text chat, word processor, presentation spreadsheets, enterprise communication services, web crawlers, indexing applications, developer spaces, and web page creation. So let's jump into each of these. File management, for example, you like some CMS, or else like you can have a very, you say, simple example can be Google Drive. You can have multiple files there, you can manage, organize them easily, so you can manage all your files from that particular cloud folder. Forms and surveys, again, you might have come across Microsoft Forms, Google Forms for various surveys and you say applications. So that's how forms are also very important in Office suites. Collaboration tools like what we discussed last time, the various productive tools which were like for project management, which were for like working together. So very good example is like if you're working on a Google Doc with 5 teammates, all of them can work on the same document at the same time. So that's how collaboratively you can get the things done effectively. Then to-do lists and notes, of course, again, like the last time we discussed, like there can be various to-do lists and you say code snippets and all, which can be noted on different kinds of notes. So OneNote is one very good example, again, from Microsoft, that has like the notes part into it. Calendar and scheduling, so again, wherever we have meetings and you say schedules coming in, calendar events and all, we can like schedule everything using such Office suites. Video chat and email client. Now video chat, again, this was discussed in the previous session, where we have different tools like Google Meet, Zoom and all, where we can like have video chat. We'll discuss email client in the next upcoming sessions. Then a text chat word processor, as I said, Notepad and also WordPad, all these utilities along with word processor or presenter and spreadsheet. These are like the basic components of any Office suite. So all of these like get covered into such productive Office suites. Then presentation spreadsheets, enterprise communication services. So you can like link it somewhat to Slack, Asana and other tools, where there are different platforms other than Slack and Asana also, which are used to communicate internally and also externally. Web crawlers and indexing applications, just like Google Search Console or Microsoft Bing Webmaster. So these all tools are like also very important when we talk of Office suites. And developer spaces and web page creation. So we have came across Google Sites, GitHub. All these platforms are like for the Office suites only. So depending upon your use case, what you exactly are aspiring to do, Office suites and their combination of applications may vary. If someone is working with databases, then SQL applications, Access and all will come into picture. If someone is just working for, you say, generating documents, then Word, PowerPoint will come. If someone is dealing with finances and numbers, then it will come under the Excel or you say macros category on that section. If someone is just interested to create beautiful presentations, then Microsoft presentation, PowerPoint suite. Apart from that, WPS PowerPoint suite, Prezi, all these softwares will come into picture. So let's understand the different ones which are available. And before going there, these are like the highlights that we need to understand. One is productive Office suites mainly have collaboration and synchronization facilities. They have such kind of an interface that can allow people to collaborate, that can allow you to synchronize documents across the cloud. And then you can also have it on cloud, just like an online interface, or else you can have it on premise like an offline software. So these are like major understanding things. These are the major things that we need to understand, that there can be softwares. Previously softwares used to be offline, but nowadays as everything is going online, many softwares have also started to keep an online interface, an online system by which everything gets synced to the cloud. All your progress, all your progress in the project and details, data, when you logged in, logged out, your tokens, everything is like getting synced to the cloud. So depending upon what kind of use case you actually have, you can select the best product. Third is integrations and add-ons. So many times we have to like use some extra graphics, external graphics or media, or some use a smart tool to like interpret or represent our data into a more effective manner. So at that point, we have to have integrations and add-ons for on these tools, like the Office suite tools. And at that point, these are like very these sync up very easily with such integrations and add-ons, and that is the reason many people like to use the ones which support integrations and add-ons. We'll understand those ahead in the session. Then fourth is features and functionalities. Of course, no one likes a complex system, so that's the reason every product that we're going to discuss today has like worked a lot upon the user interface and experience, and how they could like enhance their functionalities and capabilities ahead with the upcoming new features. That's how productive Office suites have actually come up with. So we see these images interpret how different applications can like work seamlessly using Office suites. Now let's understand the very first one into this game, Microsoft 365. So previously it was known as Office 365 for Microsoft Office tools, but now Microsoft has come up with a combination of Windows 10, now the Windows 11 part, of course. Then, secondly, the product for security, integrity, and thirdly, it is like M365, that is O365. M365, therefore, that is Microsoft 365, therefore combines Windows 10 or Windows 11, whichever the newer operating system is, plus integration, security, and all you say add-ons, and Office 365. So Office 365 main three most popular products are Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And apart from that, whatever tools or add-ons, productive apps Microsoft 365 provides are like to secure or share anything on your device. Then like having audio conferencing, of course, we know Skype and Microsoft Teams, cross-platform on authoring. So yes, again here, if you are synchronized with your device ID using the company or team ID, you can definitely like work together on the same document together and like share progress, understand where there are mistakes, and also the overall Office suite is very you say quick. It is very efficient. It gives you like marks the errors wherever you have made, and it gives a very pretty good interface. So that's the reason it's very popular. Then there can be identity management. Apart from that, document loss prevention and all, backups, like again security. You can have a lot many features when you switch on to Microsoft 365. Of course, it has a free trial, but it is a paid feature. So many big corporates and companies go with Microsoft 365 because of its advanced security, because of its project management flowchart, and other you say scalable options, which are very efficient for business intelligence and like scaling up ahead. So that's the reason Microsoft 365 is like still the most widely used or very popular one, because its interface is really inviting, and also the features, functionalities, UI UX is like truly good. So that's the reason people prefer Microsoft 365. And best part about it is that it also syncs with the cloud, and it has a very good cloud security. So that's the reason like it has a huge amount of you say functionalities, and that's the reason it's preferred a lot. So we see Office 365, as I said, is a part of Microsoft 365, and Microsoft 365 has other components including security and Windows 10, Windows 11 operating system. So they call it like one-shot solution to everything that you need for your productive Office tools. So that's Microsoft M365. And as you see, the diagram on the left shows how different tools are like synchronized with the cloud, and it increases your productivity, overall productivity. Now, I discussed about M365, but the topic today we have is Office or productive Office suites. So the Office that we know since our childhood is Microsoft Office. So Microsoft Office has a bundle of applications. It's a combination of different tabs. The very popular ones, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, exist. Apart from that, there's Outlook for mails, SharePoint for sharing news and all, Teams to collaborate and work together, Exchange again for like exchanging databases and all, Access for the same part, Publisher to design, create, and like come up with good creators. So you see a lot many applications. These are very few. If you jump into Microsoft Office Advanced Enterprise Suites, you'll find a bundle of lot many applications which have different use cases and functionalities. So the very popular one, very first, is Microsoft Office, and the very good competitor to it, Google Workspace. So Word, if we talk about Microsoft Word, then the online alternative to from Google is Docs. So Google Docs and Microsoft Word are similar in terms of you say use cases. Both are word processors. If we talk about Microsoft Excel and Google Sheets, again, both of them have similar functionalities. Yes, there can be situations where their controls differ because of different interfaces, but the overall functionalities and the overall experience is similar. So if Microsoft Excel and Google Sheets are again similar. And if we talk about PowerPoint, Microsoft PowerPoint and Google Slides, again, similar functionalities. So word processor is Microsoft Word and Google Docs, second Excel and Google Sheets, and third PowerPoint and Google Slides. That's how these three major applications of any Office suite are like similar, their use cases are similar, but their names are slightly resonating with each other, but their functionalities are almost similar. So that's about the main word processor, presentation application, and the numbers application, that is the Excel. Apart from that, Google Workspace provides us with different other applications like Google Sites, Google Forms, Keep. Keep is for again like keeping notes and all. Google also has a big bundle depending upon the plan that you choose, like business starter or enterprise plan or any other plans that Google Workspace offers. The number of applications and their services like vary. Here, like a very good example is in Microsoft, we have Microsoft Teams. Google Workspace has Google Meet. So that's how collaboration has become very, very easy. Now, one thing that again here needs an attention is that Microsoft Office can work offline. Microsoft Office is offline and M365 is online, while Google Workspace is online. So you need a Gmail account, a Google account for like accessing these free tools. And Microsoft Word can have a offline version. Recent one was Microsoft Office 2019. So you don't need internet to run Microsoft Office, but for Google Workspace you would need. And in terms of functionalities, if I say, I would prefer Microsoft Office more because it has a lot many capabilities and functionalities. And Google Workspace is also doing fantastic, but because of its online nature, it lacks some of the other functionalities and use cases which Microsoft Office can actually provide. So here, of course, Microsoft Office leads the way. The next one in this list is Apple iWork and LibreOffice. So Apple iWork is again for all iOS fans like me. We all know Apple has like three major things, which has Pages, Numbers, and Keynote. Pages is again just like Microsoft Word. It's a word processor where you have like different capabilities and functionalities for the editing documents, creating them, and like accessing them. So its Pages is similar to Google Slides. Pages is similar to Microsoft Word, and it is similar to Google Docs. If we talk about numbers again is similar to Excel, and here in terms of Google, if I say, it is similar to Google Sheets. So numbers again has Excel kind of an interface and all those functionalities that are related to Excel. And Keynote. So Keynote is for PowerPoint. Keynote is for presentations on Apple interfaces. For Microsoft, we have Microsoft PowerPoint, and from Google, we have Google Slides. So you see again, this Apple iWork has similar applications: a word processor, a number cruncher, and a presenter. So that's from Apple iWork. Now come to LibreOffice. LibreOffice is a free one. The discussions that we had till now were all about the three major players in the game, like that is Apple iWork, then Microsoft Office, and Google Workspace. All of these have free and paid tiers, but LibreOffice is a completely free office. It's a very good alternative. It also has similar functionalities, just like Microsoft Office and all. It's an open source office, of course, so there can be different modifications and like app releases frequently. The thing is, like, interface is not that great like compared to Apple or Microsoft or Google, but yes, the overall use cases are like simple, and if you want to switch to some budget friendly application, definitely LibreOffice is a must try. So the next one is LibreOffice. Thereafter we come to WPS Office and Zoho Office Suite. Now WPS Office again has, like, if you see the name WPS, W is Word, P is PowerPoint, and S is slides, like the spreadsheets. So the name itself like has the significance of what tools it has. Mainly it has these tools. Apart from that, it also has a PDF editor. So in case you wanna like give it a try, you can definitely opt into this. This is like very lightweight application. You can, like, it is very mobile, and again it has pricing plans, paid plans, and all. So, but the free version also itself is very capable, and it syncs with Microsoft Office easily. So you can give a try to WPS Office also in case you want to look for some alternative to Microsoft Office, which is costly. Then coming to Zoho Office Suite, Zoho offers you again with the similar, you say, functionalities, that is a writer, a sheet, and a show. Writer, you know, the name itself is like resonating with the word processor. Sheet is spreadsheet, and show is presentation. So Zoho Office Suite is also another very good alternative to this workspace thing. And Zoho Office Suite also is like having free tiers, which can definitely like benefit you. In case you need some more functionalities, then definitely there are paid pricing plans which can like help you to get the things done. Next is Apache OpenOffice. So Apache OpenOffice is again the free and productive office suite. So here, this is also an open source office suite where you can get different releases. Here, you will have similar functionalities like a word processor, a presenter, and a sheet. Google Sheet kind of an interface where you can like carry out different Excel operations and all. So Apache OpenOffice is the seventh alternative that I came across while researching on this topic. Next in this list is SoftMaker Office. So this SoftMaker Office is very similar to Microsoft Office, a very you say affordable alternative to Microsoft Office. It has you say almost a similar functionality to Microsoft Office. Just the thing is that Microsoft Office has come earlier compared to this, and SoftMaker Office of course has like their own kind of branding, and some controls are like so the positioning of the controls is different, but yes, the functionalities, if we talk about the overall look and feel, it is similar to Microsoft Office. SoftMaker Office has a free version and a paid version. Paid version is like compared to the main Microsoft Office comparison, it is cheaper. So SoftMaker Office also is a very good alternative to the ones who wanna like run some enterprise or business with some productive office tools. So SoftMaker Office for you. Then we come to Office Suite Pro. Office Suite Pro is like has a lot many applications. Again, we have seen this that it has document, sheets, and slides. Documents again the same similar to word processor. Sheets is for spreadsheet work, and slides is for presenting different you say presentations and all. So that's how these three things are there. Apart from that, it has a mailbox and a PDF. So here we'll discuss this mail thing in the next session because there are a lot many you say mailboxes that we need to explore ahead. But rest other are like very familiar to us. So Office Suite Pro, again a paid alternative, you can definitely give a try to it. And Prezi. Now Prezi is like different from the whole clan, but I have purposefully kept this name here because Prezi has a very good interface. It has you say capabilities that can like allow you to zoom in and zoom out of the presentation. It you should definitely like browse this name on the search engine and try to understand how it works, because it has functionalities that can like create a very good visual impact. Probably Prezi is more towards creating designs and presentations, but presentations not just as Microsoft Office. It can supersede Microsoft Office expectations because it has that kind of capability. So I would like recommend you guys to give a try to Prezi once, in case like you want to try some wonderful presentations. Prezi is a very good alternative. And what I know about Prezi is that Prezi has pricing plans. I have like tried some Prezi presentations, so sometime I'll showcase you one. So Prezi is used for presenting. It's like used in very big corporates and very you say global companies. Good companies use Prezi for like presenting their ideas and pitching for you say raise funds and all. So that's how Prezi is being used. So just to like revise once again what we just studied, we started off with different kind of productive office suites. We discussed about collaboration sync, then cloud and on-premise, integrations and add-ons and functionalities and features. So this about productive office suites. We very first we talked about Microsoft Office 365. It has different use cases. It has multiple features, and Office 365 is one part of Microsoft 365, where Microsoft Office is the offline version and M365 or O365 is the online version. So under the offline version, we saw a different bundle of applications, and the major ones which we regularly need actually in business cases are Word, Excel, PowerPoint. In terms of Google Workspace, if we talk, we have Docs, Sheets, and Slides. Then next into this game was Apple iWork and LibreOffice. So Apple iWork has Pages, Numbers, and Keynote, where we can carry out similar functions and work according to Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or Slides, Sheets, and Docs. Then coming to LibreOffice, LibreOffice is a free alternative again to all these three competitors, and you can definitely give it a try. It's an open source office, so there are like regular releases to the updates and security patches, so it's a worth try. Then WPS Office, it is like limited to the applications, but it has similar functionalities just to like the previous competitors which we mentioned. and it has a PDF editor, and of course it is very lightweight, so it synchronizes with your mobile and different devices. So that's one good thing about WPS Office. Zoho Office Suite is free, but if you want to add functionalities, you need to like buy. So it is a freemium, and it allows you to like write sheet, then work on sheets and show. So that's how creation, collaboration, communication is like efficiently balanced in terms of Zoho Office Suite. Then coming to Apache OpenOffice, here this is the free and open productivity suite. So again, this is an open source office which can like have functionality similar to it. Probably the UI is not that developed if we compare it with Google, Apple, or Microsoft, but yes, the functions are similar. SoftMaker Office like is very similar to Microsoft Office. It's a cheaper alternative to Microsoft Office, I would say, and it's like overall functions and functionalities are very effective. So you can give this also a try. It's a freemium. Then again, Office Suite Pro, your document sheets and slides, these are the major applications. Then PDF editor again. So as you see, the name itself says Pro, so you need to buy a subscription. And Prezi is a paid tool, of course, but it can like create very meaningful presentations and inviting presentations, which can have a better impact compared to all the other which we discussed. So for presentations and designs, you can definitely try Prezi. Now let's come to archive programs. In computing, an archive program is a file that is composed of one or more files. So you can just think of an archive program just like a bundle of files. And archive files are used to collect multiple data files together in a single file, just like a bag. So in case if we just think of it in a simple term, it's a bag that has multiple files. And the very best part about like locking any bag is like carrying out the zip. So one good example is like a zip file, which has a lot many files into it, and it is just made to like compress and securely store all the details and metadata into it. So it compresses the file, as I said, and uses less storage space. So it also effectively manages the storage space, reducing by like compressing the file and reducing the overall file size. That's about archive programs. And archive files often store directory structures, error detection and correction information, and different encryption details. So why people prefer archive files? For example, if you want to send something over across a mail, there are around 10-15 files. So individually selecting those many files would be like a tedious task. So in order to like simplify that task, you can just select all those files, compress it into a zip folder, and then just send that zip file across the mail or client that you're using, mail client you're using. So it's a very efficient process, and also there's no data loss as such because everything is like encrypted and it's like compressed into a very effective manner. So that's the reason archive programs are very important. And file extensions used to distinguish different types, as I said, is zip, rar, 7z, tar, etc. So depending upon what kind of compressor or what kind of archive program you're using, there are different extensions that like simplify what kind of the file is, what kind of archive file is. Computer archive files are created by another file archiver software, optical disk or disk image software. Now disk image software, there's one thing I have to mention here, that when you want to install any kind of an operating system like Ubuntu or Windows, so you just cannot like install it on the one operating system. You need to like have go into the boot menu and carry out different operations. But in order to carry out such operations, you need to have a disk image file. That is a very good example is an ISO file, where you need to like carry out some steps to create such kind of a bootable device, and those devices also can be categorized into archive programs depending upon what kind of operating system or what kind of program you want to load on your system. So that's about archive programs. Now, features of archive programs. Archive programs have self-extraction, self-installation, source volume information, package notes description. So the very first point is like very easy to understand. It has self-extraction, installation, and source volume and medium information. So it is very well understood that it has extraction and like storing information capability, converting metadata into data stored inside a file, like name, permissions, etc. So metadata is you say some part of data that is necessary to store the files into the zip. It is necessary just to like keep the things secure, and also to understand like details, when was it created, and understanding the different use cases of that particular data set. Checksums to detect errors, like in some if you have sometimes read about encryption and decryption. So one good idea is to like checksum. So if you distribute different packets on different you say locations, then you just have to get all the packets again back when you decrypt, and you need to check the sum like before breaking it down into different packets. You can assign some kind of values to the particular packet, and then when all those packets come together after decryption, the addition is checked. If the value matches before breakage and after like combining it again, then we can say that the file is correctly like consumed, file is like correctly moved from one destination to other. So checksum to detect errors can be possible. Data compression and encryption. So here again, this is a very good effective need for today's world, because we are like surviving in a big data world, and we need to like keep our storage spaces you say vacant as much as possible. And that's the reason data encryption, data compression is very important. Encryption would come for security. Error correction to fix errors. So if you are on a developer side, if you understand such development kind of language, then error and bug fixes like this also is very much efficiently solved using archive programs. File patches and updates. So you might have if you have any time come across development interfaces, you must have heard these names like npm or I like in simple terms, if I say that you would need file patches to run some like node or environments, and all those also can be like possibly extracted from zip files. So that's the reason file patches and updates can like easily be attained. And storage and multiplex files. So here what we understand that if we want to store it easily across devices, it is also possible, and storing multiple files into one zip is also effectively possible using archive programs. The other two features are splitting a large into equal size files, as I said, like dividing into different packets, assigning them some value, and then combining it back, and then checking the value. If the value is before and after match, then the file is correctly transmitted. And the file extension or the header archive indicates the file format used, as we discussed in the previous slide. If it is .7z, if it is .zip, if it is .rar. So depending upon the tool that is being used to compress or like encrypt the file, the extensions vary, and extensions will help us to like categorize by which tool we have to like get the data out of it. So that's about features of archive programs. So here are different archive programs. Rufus, as I said, it is a very effective tool that is used to create bootable devices. WinZip, a very, very popular name in this category, because whenever we like go with Windows devices, we have like come across this name WinZip. But the problem with WinZip is that it is a paid tool. So after some trials and test compression and decryptions, you need to pay for it. So instead of like spending much on WinZip, you can just switch to these pay simple and you say open source alternatives. One is 7-Zip. So 7-Zip is like a very good alternative to WinZip, and it has like the same kind of use cases what WinZip has. Just the thing is that WinZip has an additive archive repair tool, which 7-Zip actually does not have. But again, to like counter that, we have pzip and zipware. So these tools have got the archive repair tool. Of course, WinZip has all the solutions with it, but being a costly alternative, we can switch to such kind of open source or you say effective operating archive programs. And WinRAR, then the unarchiver, KGB, File Roller, FreeArch, HowZip, P7Zip, HamsterSoft, and Xarchiver. So these are some names which you can definitely try to like extract or compress different archive files. Also, you might have seen that whenever on Windows PC, if you just right click and go to the send to option, you see a send to a compressed folder option there. So that is like an inbuilt zip functionality into the Windows 10 and other interfaces. But the thing with this is that it has a limited functionality again. So we just cannot rely on that function, and that's the reason we would need some extractor or decryptor or encoder for such kind of zip programs. So archiving only formats are used to store metadata and concatenate files. Concatenate is like adding one file after the other, or one file after the other. Then software packaging formats are used to create software packages, and that may be self-installing files. So when you try to install any of these softwares, it will show you some terms and conditions, and there are different packaging formats again into the picture. So some packages like divide it evenly, some divide it unevenly also, just to confuse if someone is trying to hack the file, so he or she won't be able to make sense out of it. Then disk image formats are used to create disk and images and store volume. So disk image, very good example is ISO files. Compression only formats compress files only. So compression only, you might have seen there are different sizes depending upon the ratio and the amount of data that we store. So compression formats for that, and multifunction formats can store metadata, concatenate, compress, encrypt, create error detection and recovery information, and package archive into self-extracting files. So this whole function says that there are multifunction formats. So uh, these can be used to encrypt, decrypt, store, compress, and carry out different functions like repair, or you say storing an archive on some better locations. All these is possible using different archive programs. So that's how multifunction formats and extensions are very important in understanding archive programs, and the ones which we should use or we can switch to are 7-zip, WinRAR, pzip, zipware, and the rest of the names. But if you ask me, I would probably go with 7-zip or pzip, because they are very effective in terms of extracting the files. And if you want to create you say a disk image or an ISO image file for or a bootable drive, then you can definitely switch to Rufus. So that's about it. And conclusion, so alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. So that is the reason, that's the idea with office suites, productive office suites, and archive programs. That is, if you see, both office suite and archive programs talk about collaborating, talk about combining files, talk about adding everything together. So that's like one indication from this overall session. Next, it's only after you have stepped outside your comfort zone you can grow and transform, of course. So depending upon the kind of tool you use, online, whether online or offline, it can increase your productivity, and switch to any office suite, of course. But look into it, which one is actually applicable in your case, and select accordingly. You can only have more for yourself by giving it to others, of course. So this is a thought. This is here just because during collaboration we tend to make many kinds of, you say, take efforts and collaborate to give out something better to the world. So the best way to share is by giving more, so that it also comes back to you in some or the other manner. And time is an illusion, and respect it, you will earn everything. This is because this statement particularly is in this session, because why are we using office suites is to get our things done effectively, on time, efficiently, on time. And if we are stuck with the controls, if we don't understand how things synchronize differently on different platforms or different interfaces, then it would lack into productivity, and then we might lose time. So that's the reason. Time is an illusion, so respect it. So in order to respect it, you'll have to try some of the other tools which we just discussed, and get the better understanding about it. Try to use such controls and switch to the best one. That's what I can say at this point. So these are the references to this overall session, that is productive office suites and archive programs. References are blogs, Wikipedia, and of course some technical journals. So that's my organization, Delta the Innovators, and the Tech Platform. I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to share. And this is the website of my organization, Delta the Innovators. So you can just Google deltatheinnovators.com, and that's my LinkedIn profile. My name is Shubham Dumbre. In case you have any doubts, or you say you want to explore something or discuss something, collaborate on some point, definitely we can give it a try. With this, I would like to hand it over to Sophia.
Yeah, Shubham,
Yes, Sophia.
you're all done
Yeah, all
with
done.
the session?
Yeah, all done.
Okay, it was a very great session, and I hope that people sitting over there, people who must be seeing us, have learned something, something new about, office suits. That people know office suits. We don't have any doubt on that. But there are some of the small, informations which we don't know,
Correct.
and that the most important thing which we lack on that. That
Correct.
is a very small things that people don't know, but still, and they use some of the things and everything, right? So
Yeah.
people, this was the very good thing that you learned. This is the platform where you will get to learn, and every day, every week, and every month there will be a new speaker with the new thing, right? For example, Mr. Shubham Dumre always do the session on on the operating systems, on the languages, or the data management system and everything, right? Every
Yeah.
time it's a new session. So if you think that this office suits, and if there is anything which you further want the information regarding this thing or the last sessions which we have already done, and you can directly approach us. Don't feel think that it's over, or it's we don't have the new session and so we can't do anything, right? Still, any of the videos or in recently also, you can ask any of the questions. Just ask us and we will give you the exact answer, and without any doubts. But still, if you want the more explanation, we will give you more explanation, everything, more informations, as it's about us, right? We'll give you everything without any doubts, right?
Yeah.
So in the end, you want to add something, Mr. Shubham?
Nothing much. Just increase your productivity with these tools which we discussed in today's session, and let me know how was your experience after trying any of these. Thank you.
Okay, definitely. I'll request people that please do as the Shubham said. And I think after doing yourself, you will come up to know more of the things which he
Yeah.
explained, right? Yeah. So this was all about the session, and this is recorded one. If you have any doubt or want any information regarding any of the sessions which we have done so far, you can ask us, and we will give you all the informations properly. So,
Yeah.
goodbye for now and take care. Stay at home.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you so much.